After Shidou scored the first goal, it seemed like PXG would be dominating this match.
You thought that would happen, but in reality, PXG has been falling apart. After scoring the first goal, Shidou has been getting shut down by Kunigami. And to make it worse for PXG, Charles is just refusing to link up with Rin, and this is ultimately limiting the PXG attack.
PXG are kind of shooting themselves in the foot. On paper, this team is broken, but instead of playing to their strengths, they are creating all of their own problems, and right now, they are their own worst enemies.
And while the PXG team is collapsing, Bastard Munchen on the other hand is flourishing in this match.
That being said, the most annoying part about this whole situation of PXG's problems is that the root of the problems for PXG are the players themselves. Sure, there are clear issues like Shidou getting locked down by Kunigami, but Rin not getting service from Charles is ultimately hurting the team more than anything else. This team is not playing cohesively, and it's ruining their whole dynamic.
The weird thing about PXG is that they are actually one of the strongest teams in the NEL, but instead of playing to their strengths, they are sabotaging each other and wasting great chances. If they decide to wake up and play to the best of their abilities, like they did against Munchen City or FC Barca, then Bastard Munchen will be forced to adapt and make adjustments again.
PXG is a very talented and strong team. They're composed of talented players like Rin, Shidou, Karasu, and the NEL's best playmaker, Charles. On paper, they should be one of the most broken teams in the NEL. They are even able to score first in this match against Bastard Munchen. However, since that first goal, PXG has been struggling to find any real success on the field.
Yeah, Coach Loki isn't looking too great right now. This team hasn't made any adjustments to mitigate the issues we are about to mention. To begin, let's talk about the biggest problem right now with PXG, and it is their lack of chemistry between Charles and Rin. Charles is just completely ignoring Rin and cutting Rin out of the equation, which ultimately cuts PXG's offensive capabilities in half.
You're right, the major issue is Charles not linking up with Rin. This ultimately ruins the team's dynamic, and the weirdest thing about this is that in the beginning of the match, we saw Rin cook most of the Bastard Munchen team with ease, and even set up a goal for himself. I know it got blocked by Hiri, but that whole feat was still very impressive. We saw Rin beat multiple defenders, and it's not like he can't do that again.
Yeah, we know Rin is capable of doing a lot of this stuff, like you just said. He cooked most of Bastard Munchen, so he can get these open looks. However, Charles is straight up refusing to link up with Rin. He refused to pass to Rin twice in this match, actually, which resulted in Bastard Munchen winning possession of the ball both those times. Charles needs to start playing with Rin because refusing to do so is hurting PXG tremendously.
Couldn't agree more. Charles choosing not to play with Rin is the biggest fault in PXG's current system. This other issue kind of goes hand in hand in the case of PXG's lackluster offensive capabilities, Shidou getting locked down by Kunigami. One of the most threatening parts of PXG's formation is that they have these two great strikers in Shidou and Rin playing together at the same time, and this is all possible because Charles is able to work together with both of them, sending them both passes, and he's able to make this team work together fluidly. However, since Shidou's being locked up and Charles isn't working together with Rin, Charles is ultimately losing all his motivation in the game and not looking too great for PXG because of that.
Yeah, we saw that he even goes out of his way to ignore Rin mid-match and ask Loki to sub him out. Charles is going to drastic measures in order to not play with Rin. He is solely focused on playing with Shidou ever since he reacted to his signature pass and created that amazing first goal.
Charles' weird obsession with Shidou is definitely going to ruin this team if he continues to act like this. You can't forget, Kunigami is on his revenge arc and he's using every fiber of his body and will to put Shidou in a headlock. Literally, you see some panels, Kunigami is like stomping this guy into the ground. Like, Kunigami is getting his ones right now. Since PXG isn't able to utilize both their great strikers, the team is falling apart with no offense and they're basically just battling for possession.
Yeah, this team at the moment has literally no offensive capabilities as they've been shut down by Bastard Munchen. And we can talk a little bit about their defense too. I mean, it doesn't help that most of PXG supporting players like Zantetsu, Tokimitsu, and Nanase are all effectively doing nothing. The only supporting player able to make a positive impact PXG is Karasu.
PXG's greatest tool and their greatest strength to fixing all these problems is their heart, Charles. So you can't forget that his passing is the key to all of this. Once he's using his passing correctly, he's going to unlock all PXG's potential and they're going to be a whole new team that could challenge Bastard Munchen again.
We can't count PXG out yet. Even if Kaiser does score here, there are still adjustments PXG can make in order to be a devastating force in this match.
We're going to talk about some theories on how we think PXG can improve and effectively challenge Bastard Munchen. For our first theory, I think it's pretty straightforward, but Loki has to come into the match.
Loki subbing in wouldn't be a bad theory or a bad adjustment to make for this team right now. We haven't seen Loki play at all in the NEL yet, so him having an appearance here would be pretty cool to see.
And I feel like Loki coming to the game would be a good adjustment for the team overall because I think that would spark some interest in Charles and maybe get his motivation up again. We know Charles is being worked up to be Loki's passer, and maybe if Loki comes to the game and motivates Charles, that will spark PXG's success again. If Loki comes on, I'm assuming he's going to score a goal. Maybe Noah comes in and tries to stop him. Noah's probably the best chance at stopping stopping him with maybe the help of Isagi, but even then, that Charles and Loki link up must go crazy.
Yeah, we know he's been hyped up for a long time to be this absolutely incredible player, and he is this absolutely incredible player, so maybe PXG needs to call on Loki for the first time in their NEL campaign to make a difference in this match. I guess the real question is, who would Loki sub in for?
Maybe it's just one of the scrub defenders, because let's be real, those defenders aren't doing shit. Or maybe it's someone like Tokimitsu or Zantetsu, because I feel like Nanase might stick around because he's the only person helping Rin right now, but Zantetsu and Tokimitsu are kind of falling behind and not doing much, so maybe it would be one of those two.
I was thinking either Rin or Shidou, mainly just because, you know, they're the two that are basically getting no value right now, and they're the most crucial part to the attack of PXG.
Moving on to the second theory, this is kind of a cover-up in case Loki doesn't get subbed in. I think the other thing that could completely change PXG's current problems is, what if Destroyer Rin comes in?
The return of Destroyer Rin is probably the biggest question in this match. Maybe Charles will still refuse to link with Rin, triggering this Destroyer mode. Maybe Rin in the Destroyer state will interest Charles enough to the point where he will assist him. Now remember, the main reason Charles isn't linking up with Rin is because he finds his play to be too boring. Now Destroyer state could inspire some creativity and put some motivation right back into Charles again.
My thing with Destroyer Rin is that you don't really know what to expect, because during the U20 match, he stole the ball from his own teammate and then just went on this crazy run. I feel like that could happen again. Like you said, what if Charles decides to ignore him again, but instead of waiting for a pass from Charles, Rin just goes fuck it and just steals the ball from Charles or some other person, and he just goes on this crazy solo run again just to score this insane fucking goal. Like, that's something I could see Destroyer Rin doing.
I agree with you. The return of Destroyer Rin would also just be good to see for the sole fact that Rin's just been quiet this match. As we mentioned earlier, he did shine a lot in the first few moments, but really has not done anything since. And of course, like we said, a lot of that is due to Charles, but it's still disappointing to see how ineffective Rin has been so far. Another theory that we've been cooking up is, what if we see a Rin and Shidou link up? This one could be a little surprising, but what if they begin to link up with each other? Maybe even some sort of tri-flow chemical reaction if Charles decides to stop being the secret 12th player for Bastion Munchen.
Right now, PXG need to do anything they can so they can get out of the slump. PXG need to do something. They need to get desperate. Hopefully this situation pushes someone into an ego death situation and they evolve from it, because right now PXG doesn't have any real weapons. Maybe Rin and Shidou will put aside their previous rivalry and hatred for each other so they can just stunt on Bastion Munchen, because that's something no one would expect, seeing Rin and Shidou work together. It's so crazy that it could work. Like you said, that tri-flow chemical reaction. If those three really got onto the same wavelength, it would create a nasty triangle and that team would break down Bastion Munchen. Moving on, let's talk about our last theory. What if Karasu acquired Metavision?
Yeah, this is easily one of the wildest theories that we could possibly have, but Karasu gaining Metavision in this match would be really cool to see. He's easily been the hero for PXG right now, and if he were to get Metavision in this match, it would make him an even more complete player.
The thing with Karasu getting Metavision, it doesn't even seem impossible. We know Karasu is very smart, he's very analytical, he's said to have a world-type ego, his vision's definitely a big part of his game. Acquiring Metavision wouldn't be out of pocket because it totally fits in his character and his playstyle.
I agree with you there, and honestly, Cross having Metavision would be just a very useful tool to have at later matches and later points in Blue Lock. I think Cross is overdue for an evolution. I would like to see something that really takes his play to a whole nother level. I think Metavision is the right tool for him.
Plus, with Metavision, Karasu could act more like a playmaker. Maybe Karasu can use his Metavision offensively and defensively, and he can string along more on the counterattacks, and he can be a bigger focal point in the attack. Like, he can start dropping these dime passes. If he had this later on in matches too, it could be very useful, like in the Japan U20 team when he's going in the U20 Cup. Him acquiring Metavision would be amazing because it would just help him throughout the whole story, and it'd be great for this match and also later on when he's on the Japan U20 team as well.
Overall, PXG is just getting cooked on both sides of the ball right now, and it's disappointing to watch. Bastion Munchen made very quick adjustments early on, and now they're dominating on the field because of it. If this trend continues and Kaiser is able to secure the goal here, PXG is going to have a very difficult time trying to secure the momentum back from the first goal.
PXG are in very bad conditions right now. Bastion Munchen might acquire all the momentum like you said, and it's going to be interesting to see how PXG come back from this, because they have some options, but it's all up to Kaneshiro to decide what's going to happen next. Obviously, Loki could come in, Rin and Shidou could maybe have a moment together, Karasu could step up, Destroyer Rin could definitely make an appearance again. That being said, let us know what adjustments PXG need to make against Bastion Munchen. We had our own thoughts, but let us know if you agree with us, you think there's a different idea that they could try. We'd love to hear. We love reading the comments.
And again, if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe, and we also have a community Discord for you. And as always, guys, it's Lotus.
It's Tev. Peace.
Catch you in the next one.